Okay, I think the recording started. All right. So I'm going to be submitting my claim as a claimant or as a broker. You see, I've attached two documents here, my ID and my death certificate. And I'm just saying new claim. I could even say new case, and the intelligence on the email will be able to pick up based on documents. Okay, so now that I have sent this, I have document classification, ID and death certificate, along with all of these extracted fields. All these extracted fields are getting picked out of my death certificate. Okay, I think I could just open up the death certificate data. But yeah, so all of these fields essentially coming out of the death certificate, informant name, place of death. And I could configure these fields to choose the ones that I would want to be extracted based on the documents coming in and the fields that would be required to process this claim, right? The other scenario would also be wherein a customer maybe forgets to upload his death certificate, right? Because at times when you're submitting a claim, you're not really focused on the types of documents, etc. You're just really focused on receiving your processing. So in case if I were to miss my death certificate, we would see an email response wherein that missing document gets called out before we can go ahead with processing the claim. So we are going to see that response very soon. Right now, the next piece is in terms of the rules, right? So once the case comes into the system, I would essentially have a set of rules when it comes to eligibility to pick up whether this case needs to go to the workbench, etc. Right? So let's look at a few of these death claim rules, and then we are going to quickly see that result and then move into the workbench. So you see the way that these claims, or rather these rules for eligibility of the claim has been set up, right? So you have reason of death. Is it within the eligible list or is it not? So for example, if it's suicide as a death, you would immediately reject that claim. That would be a knockout scenario. Similarly, how many days has the claim of claim submission from the date of death? What is the waiting period, etc. Right? So based on that, you have other decision tables, a very structured form of rule sets. Just pulling on something we call as master data, which is again a structured tabulated form of data. We are looking at policy age here. We are looking at beneficiary relationship to the deceased, and then document code, and you have document validation rules as well. Okay, so let's quickly test these rules out and essentially see how this would show up for a particular case. So let me quickly test this out. I'm going to pick up a JSON view so that I do not have to enter these fields by one by one, and I'm going to quickly calculate. So we see that eligibility status says accept, the policy age is fine, waiting period is in check, claim submission is less than 30 days, bank validation details, etc. And then similarly, you see other information coming out of the master data set of policy information, right, for this particular claimant, and then information on the beneficiary as well. What is the relationship? What is the account type, so on and so forth, right? So now this claim essentially says that this one is eligible, right? But it would not go to straight through process based on the rules that we have set up, right? Because there are a couple of flags we see, such as document status, etc., that has not been validated. Okay. So now I'm going to quickly move into the claims workbench. Let me open up a new case. Right. Okay. So now that my case is opened up, the first thing that I will see is information getting extracted from the documents, along with information coming out of my adjudication result from the rules as well. I see a case assist, which is a quick summary on the case, calling out risks, calling out reasons for the death or the deceased, and giving the assessor an crisp summary of what the case is about, right? So that he doesn't really need to spend time on gathering information about the case or reading to the documents as well. Now we will come into an AI adjudication. This is all coming out of the rules engine, right? This is a result from there. So we have a confidence score. This is basically it's based on rules. So you have fraud related rules to say that okay, if this case has a score of 1, then it is a valid case. Documents are valid. There's very less chance of fraud. You see flags also getting picked up here, right? Policy is active. It's within the waiting period, right? And now we're going to do a line item assessment on each of the rules sets that again are coming out of the claims rules that have been set up. So you see that is the policy active? What is the cause of death? Is it under the product type rather, or the type of policy? Is the waiting period check passed? Is the claim submission within the reporting period? And so on and so forth, right? So we have document checklist rules, and we see that there was one challenge with the rules in terms of the date of birth and the age at death, right? So the age at death is essentially calculated. It's a simple rule of date gap that we use, wherein you're looking at the current date and you're looking at the date of birth and you're calculating the claimant's age. So we have a non-match here, which is why this has moved into the claims workbench. And then you have payment rules that have been passed as well. Payment amount calculated, etc. And then you have certain red flag rules as well, right? So death occurred more than 2 years. Okay. Could not verify the authenticity of the medical practitioner, which is again an initial document, essentially maybe a physician statement, etc. You could ask for, and no duplicate claims, fraud analysis, some recommendations coming from the rules engine, and certain document validations as well. And finally, you have an explanatory trace as well against this document. Okay. All right. So quickly, we'll move to the overview. This is essentially information that's getting extracted from the case. If there is any hospital related information also with this incident, right? So we would have that captured here. So we have claimant details and proposer details too, along with beneficiary details. You have a separate section on beneficiary details. Again, this could either be extracted from the documents or it could be pulled from a policy admin or a PAS system. And in case there are any invoices, right? So if there was a discharge summary or if there was hospitalization involved before the death, you could quickly upload that document and you would see these results here, right? So you would have invoice information also getting extracted with an option to pay this out, etc. If there are certain limits for a particular treatment, right? So maybe as an example, general medical services has a limit of 4,000, then the assessor could choose to change that value as well. You have claim details being extracted again um, from the documents, and certain information could come out of a PAS system. And then you have the option here to view these documents. You have a requested document set as well, which I could choose to then request for additional documents, any of these. And then finally, I have the option to take a decision with the business rules result as well, right? So you have knockout, check passed, etc. What is the service type? What is the claim type? And so on and so forth. And I can choose to quickly validate these documents and take a decision on that case. Okay. So the next item that I wanted to show us is wherein we have submitted. So you saw we submitted a single ID only, right? So, okay, actually we received another response on that, but yeah. So where we have submitted a single ID, this has been called out saying that we have not received the death certificate. So I could quickly choose to upload that, have my claim successfully be registered, or I could even now if, as I said, if there was some hospitalization involved before the death, I could even upload an invoice here and then have that information again move into the workbench, or I could choose to request for that additional document as an assessor along with the physician statement and so on. Okay, thank you. I think that covers the demo.